In the shadowed recesses of a decrepit space station orbiting a desolate planet, Hana Hunt stood gazing out of the porthole, her reflection a ghost against the backdrop of the cosmos. The station, a forgotten relic of a bygone era, now served as a makeshift haven for her, and her crew a band of disillusioned ex-Marines turned space pirates, each one a story of defiance written in flesh and blood. Hana's thoughts drifted to her past life, a time when the hum of hairdryers and the scent of shampoo filled her days, not the cold vacuum of space and the stench of ionized plasma. Her transition from a hairdresser to a conscripted soldier, and eventually to a pirate, was a tale of survival in a galaxy that offered little mercy. The government she had served, once a beacon of hope, had become a shadow of corruption, its ideals as hollow as the abandoned outposts dotting the star systems. Her reverie was interrupted by the arrival of an emissary from Starlight Colony, a space colony with roots stretching back to the dawn of interstellar travel. The colony, once a jewel of human achievement, now stood on the brink of annihilation, threatened by one of the many corrupt factions vying for control in the chaos of endless civil wars. The emissary, a wiry man with eyes that told of sleepless nights and unspoken fears, offered Hana and her crew a deal to defend Starlight Colony from the impending attack, and in return, received not only a generous reward but also a new ship. The colony's desperation was palpable, their resources stretched thin against the relentless tide of greed and power. Hana saw in the emissary's plea a reflection of her own struggles, a fight against the tyranny of a government that had lost its way. The promise of a new ship was enticing, a much-needed upgrade from their current, battle-scarred vessel. Yet, it was more than the reward that swayed her. It was the chance to stand for something greater than survival, to protect those who could not defend themselves. Gathering her crew in the station's dimly lit briefing room, Hana laid out the mission. Her voice, steady and confident, filled the space, igniting a spark of resolve in the eyes of her comrades. They were a diverse group, each having abandoned their post in search of freedom, their skills honed not just in the art of war but in the will to defy the odds. Among them was Jax, the taciturn sniper whose shots whispered death from the shadows, Lena, the engineer whose genius with tech could turn the tide of any battle in Tycho, the pilot whose daring maneuvers had saved them more times than they could count. Together they formed a formidable force, bound not by rank but by a shared disillusionment with the corrupt powers that be. As Hana concluded the briefing, a sense of unity filled the room. The mission ahead would be perilous, the odds stacked against them, but in the eyes of her crew, she saw the reflection of her own determination. They would stand with Starlight Colony, defending it against the encroaching darkness. The decision made, Hana and her crew set course for Starlight Colony, the stars ahead holding both the promise of battle and the hope of redemption. As the space station receded into the distance, Hana felt a weight lift from her shoulders, replaced by a resolve as unyielding as the hull of their ship. The fight for Starlight Colony would be a testament to their courage, a chance to forge a new path in the chaos of a galaxy torn asunder. In that moment, Hana Hunt ceased to be a mere pirate or a conscripted soldier. She became a beacon of hope for those standing on the brink, ready to lead her crew into the fray, their spirits unbroken, their resolve unwavering. The siege of Starlight Colony would be their greatest challenge yet, but in the face of adversity they would stand as one, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to defy the darkness. Starlight Colony loomed ahead, its aging structures a testament to humanity's reach into the stars. The colony's architecture, a blend of ancient design and modern necessity, stood as a beacon in the void. Its history was etched into every wall and walkway, a living museum of human endeavor. Yet, beneath its serene surface, the colony bristled with the tension of an impending siege. Hana and her crew docked their ship in one of the colony's hangars, the metallic clang of landing echoing through the vast space. They were met by a committee of colonists, their faces etched with worry yet alight with hope at the arrival of their hired defenders. Wasting no time, Hana set her crew to work, integrating their expertise with the colony's defenses. Jax took to the high points, scouting for sniper nests. Lena worked with the colony's engineers, fortifying their systems against cyber attacks. Tycho and others began training the colonists in basic combat, turning farmers and artisans into soldiers overnight. The colony itself became a character in their preparations, its hidden alleys and forgotten passages mapped and turned into tactical advantages. Hana was fascinated by the colony's ability to blend the agrarian with the martial, its agri-punk ethos a stark contrast to the sterile environments of military installations she was accustomed to. As the first wave of attackers approached, a fleet of sleek, government ships cutting through the darkness of space, the colony held its breath. Hana's plan was simple yet daring. Using guerrilla tactics, they would strike swiftly and retreat, bleeding the enemy in a series of hit-and-run attacks, exploiting the colony's intricate architecture to their advantage. The battle began with the silence of space shattered by the roar of cannons. Hana led her crew with a calm ferocity, her every order precise, her movements deliberate. They moved like shadows, striking where least expected, a relentless thorn in the side of the attacking force. Yet the enemy was relentless, their numbers and resources seemingly endless. The skirmishes grew fiercer, the cost heavier. Hana watched as her crew fought with the desperation of those with everything to lose. Amidst the chaos, she saw Jax take a hit, his body crumpling to the ground from a high vantage point. Her heart clenched, but the battle gave her no respite to mourn. As the attackers regrouped for another assault, Hana and her crew took stock. They had repelled the enemy for now, but at a cost. Casualties among the crew and the colonists weighed heavily on Hana's heart. She saw the strain in her crew's eyes, the mix of fear and determination in the colonists. Yet, there was no time for grief. They had to prepare for the next wave. That night, as they fortified their positions, Hana walked among the colonists, her presence a comforting assurance. She shared their pain, their loss, but also their resolve. The colony was more than just a mission, now it was a cause, a stand against the tyranny that had driven her and so many others to the fringes of the galaxy. In the dim light of the colony's gardens, amidst the greenery that seemed so out of place in the cold of space, Hana found a moment of peace. She spoke with the elders of the colony, learning of its history, its significance. It was a reminder of what they were fighting for, not just survival, but the preservation of a legacy, of a way of life that refused to be extinguished by the darkness of tyranny. As the colony braced for the next assault, Hana stood with her crew and the colonists, united in their defiance. The siege of Starlight Colony was far from over, but they had shown that they would not falter, that they would stand and fight for every inch of their storied home. In the face of overwhelming odds, they had found strength in each other, a bond forged in battle, a resolve hardened by sacrifice. The siege would continue, but so would their resistance, a beacon of hope in the shadow of war. In the aftermath of the first assault, Starlight Colony stood resilient, its defenses battered but unbroken. Hana and her crew used the brief respite to delve deeper into the colony's secrets, exploring ancient archives and consulting with the oldest members of the community. What they uncovered would change the course of the siege. One evening, in the colony's central dome, a vast greenhouse that served as both a food source and a meeting place, Hana gathered with the colony's leaders and her crew. The air was heavy with the scent of earth and growing things, a stark contrast to the sterile atmosphere of their ship. "We've been looking at this all wrong," Hana began, her eyes alight with a newfound purpose. "This colony, it's not just a place to defend. It's a weapon in its own right." Lena chimed in, her hands animated as she spoke. The archives revealed schematics for the colony's original design. "There are dormant systems here designed for defense but never activated. With some work, we can bring them online." Tycho, leaning against a hydroponic table, added, "And there's more. The elders told us about the heart of the colony. It's an artifact, predating the colony itself. They believe it has some kind of protective power." An elder, a wizened woman with eyes that had seen the colony's founding, nodded solemnly. "The heart has been our safeguard, a beacon of hope through dark times. But it's more than myth, it's a powerful tool, one that could turn the tide against your foes." Hana looked around the dome, seeing the faces of those who had lived in peace until the siege, now looking to her for leadership. "We'll need every advantage we can get. Lena, work on getting those defenses online. Tycho, gather as much information as you can about the heart. We're going to use every tool at our disposal." As the meeting disbanded, Hana pulled aside one of the colony's young defenders, a boy who had shown bravery beyond his years. "I need you to be my eyes and ears. Anything out of the ordinary, I want to know." The boy nodded, his expression serious. "I won't let you down, Captain Hunt." The days that followed were a flurry of activity. Lena and her team worked tirelessly to awaken the colony's dormant defenses, uncovering ancient laser turrets and shield generators hidden within the architecture. Meanwhile, Tycho and the elders delved deeper into the mysteries of the heart, discovering it was a relic of a long-gone civilization capable of generating a powerful defensive field. As the enemy regrouped for a final assault, Hana knew that their survival depended on the successful activation of these ancient systems. The night before the expected attack, she gathered her crew and the colony's defenders for a final briefing. "Tomorrow, we make our stand," Hana declared, her voice echoing through the dome. "Thanks to your hard work, we have a fighting chance. The colony's defenses are ready, and the heart will protect us." Lena stepped forward, a confident grin on her face. "The turrets are online, and the shield generators are humming. Let them come. We'll give them a welcome they won't forget." Tycho, always the calm in the storm, added, "The heart is primed. When activated, it should cover the entire colony in a protective barrier. It's nothing short of a miracle." The elder approached Hana, placing a weathered hand on her shoulder. "You have united us in ways we never imagined. The heart of the colony beats stronger because of you." Hana looked out over the assembled faces, seeing determination reflected back at her. "We stand together, not just as defenders of this colony, but as a symbol of resistance against tyranny. Tonight we rest, tomorrow we fight." As the colony settled into a tense silence, Hana stood beneath the dome's translucent ceiling, staring into the star-filled sky. The weight of command pressed heavily on her shoulders, but she felt an unshakable resolve. The siege of Starlight Colony was no longer just a battle for survival. It was a fight for the soul of the galaxy, a stand against the darkness that sought to engulf them. And in the heart of the colony, they had found the light to guide them through. The dawn of the final assault found Starlight Colony eerily calm, the silence before the storm. Hana stood atop the central dome, watching as the first light of the distant sun crept across the metal and glass of the colony. Today would decide their fate. Beside her, Lena checked her datapad, monitoring the newly activated defenses. "All systems green. The colony is as ready as it'll ever be," she reported, her voice betraying a hint of nervous anticipation. Tycho joined them, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "Enemy fleet incoming. Looks like they're not holding back this time." Hana nodded, her resolve firm. "Then let's not keep them waiting. Lena, activate the defenses. Tycho, get to the heart. It's time to show them what this colony can do." As the battle commenced, the sky lit up with the fury of combat. Laser turrets, silent for generations, sprung to life, their beams cutting through the attackers with precision. Shield generators hummed, casting a protective glow over the colony. And at the heart of it all, the heart of the colony pulsed with an ancient power, its energy barrier repelling the bombardments that sought to breach it. Hana led her crew and the colony's defenders with a tactical prowess that turned the tide of the battle. They moved like a single entity, each strike coordinated and lethal. The attackers, expecting an easy victory, found themselves ensnared in a web of resistance. In the midst of the chaos, Hana found herself face to face with the enemy commander, a brutal man known for his merciless tactics. Their confrontation was a clash of ideals, the fight brutal and unyielding. But Hana, fueled by the courage of those she fought to protect, emerged victorious, the enemy commander falling at her feet. As the final enemy ship retreated, a cheer erupted from the colony. They had won. Against all odds, Starlight Colony stood, a beacon of defiance in the darkness. Hana watched as her crew and the colonists embraced, their victory a testament to their unity and resilience. The aftermath of the battle was a time of mourning for those lost, but also of celebration for their hard-won freedom. The colonists, grateful beyond words, presented Hana and her crew with the new ship they had been promised, salvaged from the defeated attackers. It was a formidable vessel, a fitting reward for their bravery. As they prepared to depart, the elder approached Hana once more. "You have given us more than protection, you have given us hope. The heart of the colony will forever be a symbol of what we achieved together." Hana looked over her crew, her friends, who had become so much more than fellow soldiers. They were family. "This victory belongs to all of us. Together we've shown that even in the darkest times there's light to be found." Boarding their new ship, Hana and her crew set their sights on the horizon, the endless expanse of space, their next frontier. The siege of Starlight Colony was over, but their journey was just beginning. They had fought for something greater than survival. They had fought for the right to forge their own path. As the ship soared into the starlit sky, Hana felt a sense of peace. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges and battles yet to come. But for now, they sailed the stars as free beings, their spirits unbroken, their resolve unwavering. Starlight Colony was a memory, a beacon of hope in the vastness of space, and they, its defenders, were its legacy. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Please be sure to subscribe to hear more stories like this, and drop us a like too if you enjoyed it.